The decade will be linked to trauma metaphors when the horror histories of the 2010s are written, just like the 80s are linked to slasher films. And even though a new decade is about to begin, the recently released horror film Smile from Paramount fits perfectly in with its PTSD-related relatives. The monster is hardly a metaphor in this case, because the demon, evil spirit, or whatever it is the film is evasive on this point, literally feeds on and spreads through trauma. In particular, the enigmatic force that follows Dr. Rose Cotter saucy bacon throughout the entire film. Smile enjoys the taste of those who have seen another person commit gruesome, painful, bloody suicide by garden shears, oncoming trains, or the broken shards of a ceramic vase in a hospital waiting room. Laura Caitlin Stassi, a PhD student who is transported to the psychiatric emergency unit where Rose works, shivering and scared that someone is out to get her, is briefly introduced to Rose there. Laura claims that this entity has been stalking her ever since she saw one of her professors bludgeoning himself to death with a hammer 4 days ago. It looks like people, but it's not a person, she says. Laura turns to Rose with a crazy grin on her face and begins to cut her own throat at the conclusion of the lengthy dialogue segment that introduces the movie. Anyone would be uneasy about this, but Rose is particularly disturbed by it because Rose's mother committed suicide many years prior. The most insightful thematic thread in the movie is related to this residual trauma and the shame and fears associated with it. In the movie, derogatory phrases like nut jobs, crazies, and head cases are used to describe people with mental illnesses. Rose's fiancé Trevor Jesse T. Usher discloses that he has looked up inherited mental disease online. More than the idea of being cursed, Rose seems to be troubled by the thought that she might not be afflicted by the same creature that killed Laura, and that her hallucinations, lost time, and emotional instability might have an internal source. Prior to it being far too late, Rose's friends and family, including Trevor, her therapist Dr. Northcott Robin Weigert, her boss Dr. Day-Cycle Penn, and her sister Holly Gillian Zinzer, all appear to believe the issue is more neurochemical than supernatural. Only her ex-boyfriend Joel Kyle Gallner, a police officer working on Laura's case, believes Rose. Their hesitant reunion assures in the mystery aspect of the movie, which takes up the majority of Smile's lengthy but not excessive 115-minute running time. The plot of the movie follows many of the standard rhythms of a supernatural horror mystery, building from a quick Google the modern equivalent of a good old-fashioned library scene to a face-to-face interview with a traumatized